My name's Kyrstle. I am a healthcare provider in Southern California and have been working with Madeline for the last 4 months doing one-to-one personal coaching. In terms of background, about 2 years prior to working with Madeline, I joined the Camp Transformation Center and did a 6-week boot camp where I lost 17 pounds in 6 weeks, working out 5 days a week and following their meal plan. And that really showed me, that was my first kind of effort at gaining control of my health. And that showed me that if I was dedicated and that I followed a plan, that I could lose weight much more quickly than I thought that I could. The problem was that it didn't really teach me any skills. And so I learned that if I worked out 5 days a week and I only ate the things on the list that they gave me, that I could lose weight. But it just wasn't functional in terms of living a normal life. I have a very hectic work schedule, my work is very demanding. So I'm working at least 60 hours, sometimes 70 hours a week pretty regularly. And then I have a pretty active social life as well. And so the problem is that, for those 6 weeks that I was on the camp challenge, I couldn't really do anything fun. I enjoyed working out and I loved the environment at the camp, but I couldn't go out and eat with friends. I couldn't, do normal things, hang out with people. And it was really hard then to balance living a happy life and living a life that's consistent with having good health and fitness. And so I think subconsciously it taught me that if you are going to be healthy, you're going to have to suffer. You're not going to be able to do fun things or eat the things that you like because you're not going to hit your goals if you do that. They're very focused on weight, and so that's the only metric they really take, or they took at that time that I was there. And working with Madeline has showed me that really the scale can move around quite a bit depending on what you ate the night before, how much water you've drank, and that weight is not always the best indicator of how your fitness journey is going. And so I lost 17 pounds at the camp, and I gained all of that weight back, primarily because I didn't learn anything about changing how I ate on the weekends when I was out. It didn't teach me how to be healthy. It didn't teach me what healthy meant. It didn't teach me anything about being nutritious, just about kind of cutting calories. And so I felt like I learned from that experience that I could lose weight and that it wasn't all genetic, but it didn't teach me how to keep it off. And what really stood out to me about Madeline was that she was human. And so she talked a lot about the things that she struggled with and the habits that she had before that she's been working on changing, and those kinds of things. And so I like that there was like a human aspect to her presentation of her business, the idea that she's lived it and that she knows what has worked for her, and has seen it work with other clients, and that's really helpful. I like her one-on-one interaction style. So she's very positive. She's very reinforcing. So she'll give you, she gives me a lot of positive reinforcement for the things that I'm doing well, even the things that I don't realize that I'm doing well on, and then provides very constructive, it's not even criticism, but constructive feedback about things that I could change or modify moving forward. Another thing that was really helpful was how often I was in contact with her. And so not only for those first few weeks we were in contact every day about meals, but even in between meals, she was always available to answer questions. I really liked the idea that I didn't change my social calendar. So I could say, my friends and I are going here for dinner. Initially, I would say, what do you think I should order? And then she would be helpful in telling me, you should be looking at these things and order this and this and ask for the sauce on the side or whatever it might be. And then as we progressed in our work together, I would say, hey, I went here this weekend and this is what I ordered. This is a menu. How do you think I did? And that was really, really helpful. And so it showed me that I could eat out and still lose weight regularly, and that I could still, follow my fitness goals while still having a good work-life balance, which is really important to me. So all of the workouts I do are at home, which I really, really like. I like that I can check in with her and say, hey, I struggled with this movement. It kind of was feeling weird in this area, and she would ask me to videotape myself and then send it back to her, and she gave really concrete feedback about how I could change my form. I've been lifting much more weight than I ever thought that I could lift, for more reps than I thought that I could do. There are a lot of things I like about Madeline's service. I think that the fine-tuned attention to detail is really, really fantastic, not only in terms of like what I'm eating and what my meal plan is and what exercises I'm doing, but she's very conscious about kind of what's happening in life in general. And she'll say, oh, how is this going? How is that going? How is that affecting your ability to work out? Things like that, which has been really helpful. So she definitely has like a big picture life scope approach to the way that she looks at her clients. And she never makes me feel like, because work was hectic this week, that I'm not working hard enough on fitness. I think the biggest thing that has been the game changer for me is that I never thought that I had an unhealthy relationship with food. I, would eat chocolates and sweets here and there, but it wasn't something that I craved all the time. And I realized after working with Madeline that I did kind of have an unhealthy relationship with food. So it really helped me see, like, she talks a lot about the scarcity mindset, that like the feeling that you can't, if it's available to you, you have to eat it. And that's been really helpful. I sit in on a lot of meetings where there's donuts and bagels and those kinds of things. And she'd say, if you're craving those things, you can have them. You just adjust your other meals as necessary. But if you don't really feel like eating them, you don't have to eat them. And so that has been, it seems like a simple change, but that's really made a big difference. Even when I'm out with friends, there are things that I normally would order as kind of like my guilty foods, and I really don't feel the need to do that anymore. And even when I'm eating like sweet things, I used to, when I was having a bad day or when I was feeling stressed out, I would eat sweet sometimes. And I find that I can have a bite or two of things that are, that I used to kind of not binge on, but I used to eat in certainly a higher quantity. And I'm totally satiated after a few bites, and I don't feel deprived. I'm not depriving myself of eating them. I just find that I stop eating when I'm full or when I'm satiated, and that's never something that I used to pay attention to before. And I don't feel like it's coming from an effortful place. I feel like she's really changed the way that I view what I put in my body and how I feed myself. In a way that really has become natural to me. And because I don't feel like I'm depriving myself all the time like I did when I was at the camp, I don't feel the need to have these really bad, guilty meals every week or 2 weeks, which I was doing when I was at boot camp. And so it really has been the best bang for my buck in many ways. I feel like she has taught me everything that I've wanted to know and more. I 100% would recommend working with her, and I try to recommend her to anybody that's interested in fitness. Just because I feel like her approach is so easy to understand. She is very loving and supportive, and so there's no real shame involved in the choices that you're making. It's just about working towards a goal and working towards having a healthier and sustainable lifestyle, which I absolutely think she's done. So after the 3 months, I signed up for 3 months, and I learned so much, and I was so impressed with her services that I signed up for another 3 months. And likely, we'll see how things go, but I anticipate working with her for a while. And I cannot emphasize enough how great she is. And so if you're on the fence and thinking about working with her, I think it's definitely worth your time and effort and your money. It really has been a game changer for me, and if I could do it again, and I have had the opportunity to do it again, and I've always taken it. And so Madeline is great. She's taught me a lot, and she's also just fun to be around. She's really funny, and she's really easy to talk to, which also really helps.